time, baby. It's time, baby. You know, 2 years ago, everybody was jumping off the Carolina bandwagon. I'm not going to lie, struggled to make some videos, but baby, it is time. If you haven't heard, all right, there's talks of the Panthers potentially getting Brandon Aiyuk. I'm not just blowing smoke, all right? I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm not a train conductor. All these articles, and you got to realize, when all these articles start to drop, something smells fishy. Right now, yes, Aiyuk is coming off an injury, all right, contract. We're going to talk about all that, but here's what you got to realize. This is the potential that the Panthers have with that 8th overall pick. This is the potential that the Panthers have now that we're not just handing players out. All right? This is the potential we have to bring guys like that in. Yes, injury again. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to all of it. I promise. Contract, injury, stats. We're going to get to it. Stay with me, baby. Let's jump into the video. So first up, all right, again, you see the articles. You see Brandon Aiyuk potentially coming to the Panthers. Potentially. Now let's get a little rundown real quick. The 49ers are being urged to trade receiver Brandon Aiyuk to the Carolina Panthers ahead of the 2025 NFL Draft. Aiyuk, who signed a 4-year, $120 million extension, has struggled since suffering a torn ACL in Week 7. The 49ers are looking to save $22 million off their cap space. All right. And then Grant, NFL writer, basically says this right here. Package Aiyuk in the 11th pick, move up 3 spots with Carolina, so Carolina would drop 3 spots back. All right. That way they could draft a new foundational player for their team. All right. And it would give the Panthers and Bryce Young more weapons. Let's keep it going. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about on this video today. Brandon Aiyuk, how does he do? Let's look at the numbers real quick. So he came in the league in 2020, 60 catches, 5 touchdowns, 56 catches, 5 touchdowns, 78 catches, 8 touchdowns, 16 catches, 7 touchdowns. What the stats aren't showing you is McCaffrey did his thing with the Niners. And I'm drawing a blank on McCaffrey's backup. He went and did the same thing. Yes, the Niners have a good line, okay? But the line's going to get you to that second level, especially up the middle. When you're going outside zone, stretch, sweep, toss, whatever it may be, you need receivers who will block. Aiyuk is one of the few elite blocking receivers in the NFL today. Not a lot of receivers really want to block. You see what I'm saying? We have receivers who will block, but Aiyuk is next level. So yes, these stats are good, but remember, Dave wants to be a run-first offense. So if you get somebody like Brandon Aiyuk in the offense, oh boy, nothing but good things. Let's keep it going though. Like I said, we have a lot to go over. So let's talk a little bit more about where does Carolina come into play right here. So it says right here, Carolina options have dried up. The Panthers opted not to sign any marquee names on the free agent market. I don't know that I agree with that, but let's keep it going. There's always a 2025 NFL draft, but they don't have the Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., right? As for trade candidates, well, we know Debo, DK, they both picked their spots. T. Higgins, bang, back with the Bengals. So there's not a lot left, okay? So I see what they're saying right here. Aiyuk comes to the Panthers. You definitely give Bryce another weapon. What would a package look like? Let's talk about it real quick. So the 49ers insider basically says this right here. They could package Brandon Aiyuk with their first pick, number 11, to move up in round 1. Why not? Now, here's the thing. I don't know that it'll be that easy. Bang, Aiyuk in the 11th will move up to number 8. You know, bada bing, bada boom. I imagine it's going to be, okay, you take our second, we'll take your second. Take our third, we'll take your third. And we're going to go over the draft picks. That's towards the end of the video. It's going to be something like this that the Panthers do decide to do with the Niners. All right, but I don't know if that's going to be a simple kind of 1-to-1. Yes, Aiyuk's in there, but I think more rounds are going to be involved. Let's keep it going. Like I said, we got more stuff to go over. So right here's the red flag. If there was one red flag you had to put in the video, it's this right here. All right, let's talk about it real quick. It says Aiyuk's contract is relatively cheap. When they say relatively cheap, it's like, okay, don't get mad, but I'm going to say this, right? So it's like telling somebody, don't get mad. Well, I'm probably going to get mad when you say that, right? So it says relatively cheap in 2025 and 2026 compared to what most receivers at the top end are making. However, this does skyrocket to 42 and $44 million in the final 2 years of his deal. You see what I'm saying there? It's relatively cheap until you really look at Look at that fine print. Yeah, right. So none of that is guaranteed. We're going to look at the contract after this, all right? Whether it's Aiyuk or another avenue, the Panthers cannot afford to neglect their wideout room in the coming weeks. It says Leggett and Coker both have promise. Both need some extra polish. I agree with that for the most part. Before confidence increases in their outlook. I don't know about that with Coker, but let's keep it going. Adam Thielen is around for another season, which helps enormously. But asking him to be Carolina's #1 receiver at 35 years old is beep, beep, insane. Adam Thielen cannot be the #1 guy at 35. All right, now I think Coker is going to step up, but still, Adam Thielen cannot be the #1 guy at 35. Let's keep it going, though. Let's take a look at some numbers real quick. So as we look at the contract, it kind of more of the fine print, right? This year, $11 million. Next year, $16 million. They can cut him after that, and I believe it's going to do $9 million against the cap, because if they decide to keep him, $42 and $44 million. Now, here's the thing. If he pans out for the Panthers, they could restructure his contract, right? Give him a 2-year extension and then basically kind of backload that and even that out across the next 4 years. We'll see what happens there. But this year, next year, what, 25? 26 mil? That's not bad, right? So let me know your thoughts on the contract. It's a touchy subject, right? Because if you backload it too much, then bang, in 2 or 3 years, you're screwed with money because now you got to pay all these people out. Now here's, I guess, the other red flag. The injury history. But I'm not too concerned. And here's why. Look at the games missed. 2020, no games missed, okay? 1 game. 1 game, no games, 1 game. 10 games last year. So it's not like it's a huge injury bug. Yes, the ACL tear is obviously scary. I'm not denying that at all. But I don't see a long history report, to be honest with you. All right, we got some new training staff in. Because of what happened to Brooks last year, they basically said, you're gone. Bring some new guys in. So that does give me a little hope, to be honest. Because obviously, was it the head trainer? Somewhere along that position had to go because Brooks comes in and then bang, he tears his ACL again, right? So bring in some new people as far as the training staff. Gives me a little bit of hope, to be honest. Okay, ACL tear is obviously scary, but gives me a little bit of hope. But now we're going to look at the Panthers draft picks, all right, and the Niners draft picks and how a trade might work right here. So let's look at the first 3. Panthers 8, 57, and 74. The Niners 11, 43, 75. This could be interesting because if the Panthers could somehow kind of slime their way in a little bit and swap the first 2, right, 8 and 57 for 11 and 43, and maybe they do the first 3, right, so then the Niners move up 1 spot from 75 to 74. If the Panthers could get Aiyuk, all right, you move back 3 spots, but then you move up 14 spots in the second round. Whoo, boy, we would be cooking. But let me know your thoughts on Aiyuk. Yes, right, ACL tear, obviously scary contract, but again, you're going to get Aiyuk for 2 years for what, $25 million, give or take? And if it doesn't work out, you can use him as trade bait, especially for the draft coming up in 2 years as well. It sounds good, right? But just because it sounds good doesn't mean it's always good. But let me know your thoughts. That's going to wrap it up. Panthers Devices out. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.